DAI is a stablecoin that is equivalent to $1, and it's primarily used on the Ethereum network. Due to the high demand on the Ethereum blockchain, for many use cases, it's just not feasible to make DAI transactions because the transaction fees represent a high percentage of the value that's sent. In this video, I'm going to provide you with a solution to the high transaction fees on the Ethereum network. You're going to learn how to convert the DAI that you have on the Ethereum network into RDAI, DAI that move within the RSK network. This will allow you to make DAI transactions with much lower fees and without identity verification. Let's get started. This solution is based on the work done by the teams of RSK, DAI, KriptonMarket, and the Defiant wallet. And we're going to be using KriptonMarket swap service and the Defiant wallet. At a high level, the process is going to look like this. You're going to have DAI on the Ethereum network. You're going to send this DAI to KriptonMarket swap service. Then the RDAI will be sent to your RDAI account in the Defiant wallet, manually by the KriptonMarket team. Once you have RDAI, you'll be able to transact on the RSK network with much lower fees. KriptonMarket is a centralized swap service and allows you to exchange various crypto, especially those within the RSK ecosystem. When you use this service, you have to take into account 3 different things. First, the RDAI that you receive are already generated on the RSK ecosystem. No new DAI are created. And that's the big difference between using this method and the bridge, where you convert your DAI into RDAI. 2. At the time of making this video, order processing is done manually. So you're going to receive your RDAI as soon as a transaction is approved by someone on the KriptonMarket team. And 3, KriptonMarket charges fees between 2 and 3% depending on the amount sent. Before you can get started, there are 4 prerequisites that you need to meet. So you may have to undertake a little bit of preparation ahead of time if you are not ready to go. First, you need to have some DAI in your wallet. You can buy this on an exchange or have someone send it to you. Second, you need some Ether. Between $30 and $50 should be sufficient, and you need this to make the transaction on the Ethereum network and send DAI to the KriptonMarket. If you don't have Ether, you can buy it on an exchange. 3, you need to have some RBTC. These are necessary to make RDAI transactions after you've completed the swap. RBTC are Bitcoin that move on the RSK network. They're needed to pay transaction fees on the RSK network and make your RDAI available to use. You need about $10 worth of RBTC, and you can get this on Bitfinex, BISC, or XLX exchange. Or you can convert your Bitcoin into RBTC using the Sovereign Fast BTC, Defiant, or Liquality applications. Or you already have the Defiant mobile application installed and you've created an account. We're going to follow 2 simple steps to convert DAI into RDAI. First, we need to make sure that we meet the basic prerequisites so that we don't run into any operational issues. And second, we're going to do the conversion directly in the Defiant application using the KriptonMarket option. You can access each of these steps below in the timeline. Let's get started with the first step. Before you can perform the actual conversion process, you need to make sure that you meet the basic prerequisite. So assuming that you already have the Defiant application and you've created an account, you're going to need to send DAI, Ether, and RBTC to your wallet. I'm using wallet number 3 in this example, and I've already sent Ether, RBTC, and DAI. To perform this exchange, you need a minimum of 50 DAI and a sufficient amount of Ether to pay for the transaction fees of sending the DAI. So I would recommend that you have at least $30 worth to execute the transaction. With respect to RBTC, $10 worth should be enough because average transaction fees are about 10 cents. Once you have your DAI, ETH, and RBTC in your wallet, you're going to have to add the RDAI token to be able to visualize the amount that you're going to receive in your account. For this, go to the main menu, My Wallet, and select the $ or coins. This is where you keep your funds. Next, access the custom token section and select the RSK DAI stablecoin. Press OK. When you return to the main menu, you can now see that RDAI has been incorporated in your wallet. Now let's move to the second step where we're converting DAI into RDAI using KriptonMarket. First, from the main Defiant section, access your DAI wallet. Select Swap. At the bottom, choose the RDAI option and select Continue. And then enter the amount of DAI that you want to exchange. Something to note, the amount of RDAI you're going to receive are going to be a little lower because KriptonMarket charges a service fee. At the bottom, you can see a logo that indicates we're using KriptonMarket Swap. Select Continue. In the next step, all the conversion information is going to be provided for you to review. It indicates how much you're going to change, what you're going to receive, and the fees that you pay on the RSK and Ethereum blockchains. Something to point out, if you select the small gear on the right, you can set the gas to either low, average, or high, depending on the amount of fees that you want to pay and how long you're okay waiting for the transaction to happen. You can even select it manually. In this example, I'm going to set it to an average setting. If you agree with these settings, select Confirm. As I mentioned before, the conversion using KriptonMarket is performed manually, so you might need to wait a few hours. For example, if you do it during the day, you might need to wait 1 to 3 hours. And if you do it late in the afternoon, you might need to wait until the next day for the exchange to be approved. To change your RDAI into DAI, the conversion is the same but in the opposite direction. Make sure that you have RSK in your Defiant wallet so that you can pay on the transaction fees on the RSK network. You don't need to have Ether because KriptonMarket charges you a fee for both the services they use and the fees to send DAI to your account. For example, if you want to convert 100 DAI, you will receive about 86 DAI. KriptonMarket charges a fee for both the services they use and the fees that it pays on the Ethereum network to send the DAI to you. Keeping these fees in mind and the types of transactions that you want to perform, you can now make a much more informed decision on the best option for you and the network that you want to use. If you want to learn more about the RSK Smart Network, upcoming developments, and its ecosystem, please subscribe and turn on notifications.